Could you tell us your background story? Where are you from? Why you came to Australia? What you study, your internship, everything.
So I'm Kazuma, and I'm a university student from Japan. And I was on an exchange program at the University of Wollongong, Australia. I was studying there for 1 year, and I came back to Japan just 2 months ago. In my whole university, I studied actually German and international area studies. But in Australia, I studied programming and editing videos and like designing. So somehow I started my YouTube channel and then fortunately get uh, internship opportunity. And now I'm invited to this podcast. So I'm quite happy to share my story and I hope to give you some good insights. So thank you for having me today.
No, thank you for, being with us today. Yeah, so it sounds like you were only in Australia for a year, and then you got an internship. So that's really cool. Could you tell us like how that happened?
Yeah. So like getting an internship during the study abroad program was very big goal for me. So from the first month of Australia, I started searching how to find internship. And I joined in like a career seminar at the university. They had some like support. So I learned LinkedIn is used in Australia. That app is not used in Japan. So I was not familiar with that app at all. So through this like seminar and the career support, I was familiarizing myself with that app. Then I applied for the internship. Then I got it. So that's the brief explanation.
Got it, got it. And why was it your goal to get an internship?
Yeah. So it was a goal because I was not sure about my career path. Like during my study in Japan, I studied German, as I said, but I realized I don't know if it's my interest or passion, but I was not sure what I want to do next. So maybe getting some internship during my time in Australia will be helping me find new passion and open new career path. So that's why I wanted to get internship.
And was that your first ever internship, or had you done internships before in Japan?
It was the first time. In Japan, I just did some part-time job, like working at the McDonald's, but not like, serious, like, internship. So that was quite special experience for me.
And can you tell us a little bit more about this internship and what you did?
Yeah. So I was working at Altitude Tea. This company is based in Sydney, and this company sells tea products like tea leaf and hold Chinese tea ceremony. It was a digital marketing intern. So I used my phone, I used my like DSLR camera, and then take some footages and photos of the products and tea ceremony. Then I edited those videos and posted on Instagram and LinkedIn, Facebook to get some prospect customers with digital marketing.
And how common would you say it was for other exchange students like yourself to find an internship?
I think it was quite rare. Like, so I was living in the accommodation of the University of Wollongong, and then there I could interact with so many exchange students and international students. And I did not meet even one student who had an internship as an exchange. And even for international students, when I talked about like I got the internship and they were so surprised. So I was quite lucky.
Yeah, you definitely have a very unique story.
Yeah,
And I think it's really cool because it shows that it is possible to get an internship as
yeah.
even as an exchange student. So was this a paid internship or did you do it for student credit?
It was unpaid internship. I just got a free lunch and experience. And
Mhm.
sometimes like that company hosts tea ceremony at other company like Activision, which is
Mhm.
famous for creating the game Call of the Duty.
Yes,
So I
yes.
went to the office of Activision and then I could interact with the people there. So I was so excited.
Makes sense,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when I was a student, free food was always great. So, do you feel like your internship was worth it?
Yeah, definitely. It's life-changing experience. Yeah. I yeah, so before the internship, as I said, I was not sure about my career path. But like from the beginning of the study abroad, I started a YouTube channel. Thanks to that YouTube channel, the Altitude T found me interesting. Oh, this guy is doing YouTube. And then that company was hiring a digital marketing intern. So it's kind of similar, right? Yeah, I use SEO knowledge and video editing. So that skills are applied for that internship. And then because of that internship, now I'm passionate about digital marketing and content creation. So that experience definitely changed my career path and it gave me insight about what I want to do in the future.
Very cool. So, thanks to your first professional experience in Australia, now you go back to Japan and you can continue working in that field because you have that experience now.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Wow.
the first digital marketing internship in Australia, then now another digital marketing internship in Tokyo. So it connects, story has some consistency.
Yeah, it looks convincing for like when you apply
Yeah.
for jobs in the future. And what was the biggest thing you learned from your internship in Australia?
So the first thing is definitely confidence about my proficiency of English, because I was living my whole life in Japan and then suddenly came to Australia and started internship. So it was at first very scary. Like when I got a call from her, I was nervous. But after that 3 months internship, I realized that, oh, I can handle professional business stuff with my English. So that's the first thing, like the confidence about my English. And the second thing is marketing skills. It's kind of, detailed stuff. I mean, I used some tools for email marketing and I learned some uh, mm, like digital marketing analytics tool, like, oh, this post gets more reach than this, or what's the reason, or like hashtags, this one works, or this hashtags doesn't work to get some views, or like that. So I got more used to using those like tools and then learned how the digital marketing was working.
That's awesome. Huh. What would you say was the coolest thing you worked on while you were there?
So as I mentioned, I went to the office of Activision and I was taking videos of that tea ceremony. Then afterwards, I edited them and posted on LinkedIn, and more than 10,000 people watched that video.
Wow.
And I was quite surprised about with that outcome. Yeah, so that's the coolest thing. But basically, mm, each day I go to the office. What I do is taking video and analyzing the result. So those maybe might sound boring, but for me, it was really cool.
Was there any culture shock on the job?
Yeah, in Japan, working is more strict. Like, for example, when I talk with some boss, like senior, I have to use some like more polite language in Japanese. Yeah, but here English, no difference, right? So I could be quite friendly with the boss. So that was totally different from Japan. And then I prefer that much more.
So, what's one thing you were worried about at the start of your internship that you know is no big deal now?
In my case, I was so worried about my English because
Mm.
I was not sure I can handle everything with my English. But now it's not that big deal. So I think if some exchange students, if you want to do internship, go for it. It's going to be really okay. Not so big deal. Not that big deal.
Oh, what was the hardest part of finding or getting this
Mm,
internship?
so when I apply for some internships, most of them do not reply at all.
Mm.
So I sometimes send a follow-up message on LinkedIn, like, I'm still interested in this opportunity. So if you have any update, could you reply? But still, they don't reply. So maybe the difficulty is to get the first interview. So maybe applying for some as many as internships would be one solution. Maybe some of them would reply, but sometimes there might be some scam or like I applied one, they asked me to pay money for that internship. So be careful about that. But applying for as many possible, then you get some good internship opportunity and then go for the interview. I
Sure.
think finding some internship that align with your interest is also hard. Some internship is done online, and I preferred on-site internship because I wanted to interact with people in person. And when I tried to find internships related to digital marketing, like only a few internships pop up on LinkedIn. So maybe finding interesting internship for you is also hard.
Could you tell us about which platforms you used and which ones you recommend?
Yeah, I used LinkedIn, sometimes Indeed, and then the career website of the University of Wollongong. So there's a website that introduce some internships, and they employer wants to get some students specifically from the University of Wollongong. So that's easier for University of Wollongong students to apply for. LinkedIn is the most powerful one.
Is it
Many
because
internships are out there.
got it. So the most number of internships.
Yeah,
And did you find that you heard back more from the LinkedIn employers?
yeah, I think so. Like, cause there's a option of easy apply. So I just created a resume on Canva and then sent that resume and then my email address. That's it. And then I can just contact through LinkedIn app instead of sending email. It's more casual. So I applied for that internship on LinkedIn, and at first she didn't reply to me. So I just sent a follow-up message on LinkedIn, and then I told my phone number, so she called me, and then we scheduled the interview. Then I got it.
Cool. Can I ask what you put on your resume?
Yeah, like basic information like address and email address, phone number. And then besides that, I explained my interests, like I'm doing YouTube and then I'm interested in digital marketing. That's why I want to apply for this. So those interests and my academic background, like I studied international area studies in Japan and I'm on the exchange program now, like that. And career history, like I was working at the McDonald's. So, not that special. I just added necessary information.
I
My
see.
best friend and my career support center at the university like gave me a lot of advice, and then I could create that resume.
What was the best advice you got on the resume?
Ah, God, for me, everything was the best advice because I did not even know how to, start creating the resume. In Japan, we have a specific format for resume. So we have to just fill that up. And then I don't have to think about what to write or like design of the resume. So thanks to them, I knew the app, uh, Canva, how to use it and how to design the resume and what to write. I think for exchange student, especially from maybe Asian countries, they don't know how to write a resume well, I guess, because it's totally different system to apply for a job. Like in Japan, I have to put my photo on the resume, but my friends mentioned I do not have to put my photo. That's totally different as well. So that's another tip.
And what was the interview like?
So it was, I think, kind of unique. First step is like a easy question, like tentative weekly commitment or timeline. How long I want to do this internship until when and when to start. And the second one is like why I want to do this, like why I'm interested in that opportunity. And she asked about my YouTube channel. Then third step, it's quite unique. So As I said, it was a tea ceremony company, right? So she actually demonstrated how to do Chinese tea ceremony in front of me. And then she gave me some teas and then she asked us some questions like, where are you from in Tokyo? Or what do you do normally? Sometimes she asked the more professional questions like how I organize the, project or how so she asked some questions related to that internship. Yeah. So, but besides that, it was very comfortable interview, enjoying the tea ceremony.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
So what are your long-term career plans? Like, would you ever go back to Australia to work or maybe go somewhere else?
So in 5 years, I envision myself maybe working in Australia or a different country or working in a foreign company in Japan. I really prefer the working environment and working habits of Australia compared to the Japanese one. And another short-term goal is now I'm a senior student of the university. So in the next year, the job hunting will start. It's also another totally big culture difference. So in Australia, like each student have a different schedule and then they can do job hunting in their own schedule. But in Japan, every single student will uh, start at the same time, like maybe around from um, May or April. So I have to maybe focus on that because after graduate, I wanna definitely get a job. Yeah, so I will get a job of the Japanese company, then change to working in Australia or working in the foreign company. That's the plan for now.
Interesting. And do you foresee yourself continuing to work in digital marketing?
Yeah, definitely. I'm now working in another brand marketing agency in Tokyo, engaged in digital marketing. I would like to continue this job.
Can I ask how you found your current internship in Tokyo?
Yeah, so I came back to Japan 2 months ago, and then I used LinkedIn again. It's kind
Wow.
of interesting story. I applied for some internships on LinkedIn and on some other platforms, and then I found one opportunity, which was um, media company, and then I had an interview with them. But as we have a conversation, they realized that my interests do not align with what they are actually doing. But
Mm.
they knew another company that is doing what I want to do. So they introduced that company to me, and that was the company where I'm working now.
That's really nice of them. And what are you doing now every day at this internship?
So what I'm doing in this current internship is mainly video editing, content creation. So one day I take a good camera and then start filmmaking, like shooting the footages of the project of client and then sometimes behind the scenes. And after that, I'm working on post production using Adobe Premiere Pro. I edit those videos for our own media like YouTube or Instagram, or sometimes I work on the client project. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Oh, okay, so it's like a marketing agency.
Yeah,
Ah,
so like the company I'm working for now is creating advertisement
mhm.
for other companies or for other brands. It's quite creative field. Some people are designers and design the logo of the other company or creating some commercials for other company. Yeah. So that's the what the
Interesting.
company is doing. Yeah.
Oh, and when you applied, do you think it was helpful to have that Australian experience on your resume?
Yeah, it's quite helpful to have some working experience in Australia or in other foreign country because being able to speak English is not so common in Japan. So some students who can uh, work in English environment would be quite prioritized. Yeah,
Oh.
so having that experience on resume is quite cool.
Is there anything you regret about your internship experience in Australia? or anything you would do differently?
Mm, mm, yeah, I have one thing, but it's not like something I could change. Now I have more skills. Like I
Mhm.
can use Adobe Premiere Pro. Like I used to use iMovie. It's not
Mhm.
that professional editing software, but I can use now Adobe, and then now I have more like knowledge and then skills about digital marketing, like SEO and social media marketing, or like scheduling tool or analytics tool. I'm quite familiar with that. But at that time, when I was in Australia, I was not that familiar. So now, yeah, I can give more advice to like, old myself. But yeah, I could do better. I not regret, but I could learn a lot more like on Udemy or on Coursera and on those online school to get more of those skills. Then I could output more in that internship. So if I can go back to that time, I recommend myself to get more input
Mhm.
on online course and output at the internship.
Last question. Um, what's your best piece of advice for international students or exchange students trying to find an internship in Australia?
I think taking action.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was at first not expecting to get internship. I did not even know how I can reach that goal. But somehow, because I did YouTube channel, and then because I found opportunity and I went to the career support center because I made best friends who support me a lot because those dots of the taking action finally connected and then led me to that internship. So it's hard to find a one-way path to that goal. But if you taking action, those dots should be connected in the end, and you can get the internship opportunity. If you wanna make something happen, take action is the best advice, I guess.
That's very wise.
Thank you.